Good morning. I am Madhurima Datta, Zoology and Biology Educational Content Creator. Now's content for B.Sc. Zoology Honors, M.SC. Zoology, CUET PG and CSINet Life Sciences students. Paper Non-Coordinates, Unit Mollusca, and topic is Gastropoda and torsion mechanism of gastropoda. This is a very important for the B.Sc. Zoology Honors and M.SC. Zoology Honors. At first, I will discuss about the introduction of class Gastropoda. Among mollusca, class Gastropoda is by far the largest and most diverse, containing over 70,000 living and more than 50,000 fossil species. Gastropods are usually sluggish, sedentary animals because most of them have heavy shells and slow locomotion. Some are specialized for climbing, swimming, or burrowing. Shells are their chief defense. Next, shell. The shell, when present, is always of one piece, that is called univalve, and may be coiled or uncoiled, starting at the apex, which contain the oldest and smallest horde. The hordes become successively larger and spiral around the central axis or columella. Next, the shell may be right-handed, that is called dextral, or left-handed, that is called sinistral, depending on the direction of coiling. Direction of coiling is genetically controlled and dextral shells are far more common. Many snails have an operculum, a plate made of tanned protein that covers the shell aperture when the body is withdrawn into the shell. Next characteristics of the gastropoda is habitat. The range of gastropod habitats is large. In the sea, gastropods are common both in littoral zone and at great depth. And some are even pelagic, some are adapted to brackish water and others to the fresh water. Next, form and function of gastropoda. And first I will discuss about the torsion mechanism of the gastropoda. Gastropod development varies with the particular group under discussion. But in general, there is a trochophore larval stage followed by a veliger larval stage where the shell first forms. The veliger has two ciliated velar lobes, which is used in swimming, and another that developing foot is visible. The mouth is anterior and the anus is posterior initially, but the relatively positions of the shell, digestive tract and anus. Nerves that lie along both sides of the digestive tract and the mantle cavity containing the gills all the change in a process called torsion. Torsion is usually described as two-steps process. In the first steps, an asymmetrical foot retractor muscle contracts and pulls the shell and enclosed viscera 90 degrees counterclockwise relative to the head. Next is this movement brings the anus from the posterior to the right side of the body. And the fast movements of the shell rotate between 90 and 180 degree into a position that will persist into adulthood. It was previously assumed that the mantle cavity, which houses both the gills and the anus in adult animals, moved with the anus in the first 90 degree of the torsion. Next, the anus and mantle cavity usually move further to the right and the mantle cavity is remolded to the encompasses the anus. In a slower and more variable series of changes, the digestive tract moves both laterally and dorsally so that the anus lies above the head within the mantle cavity. Next, after torsion, the anus and mantle cavity open above the mouth and head. The left gill, kidney, and heart atrium are now on the right side, whereas the original right gill, kidney, and heart atrium are now on the left side. And the nerve cord form a figure 8. Because of the space available in the mantle cavity, the animal sensitive head end can now be withdrawn into the protection of the shell. with the tougher food and when present the operculum forming a barrier to the outside. A single mantle cavity over the head may have arisen when the left lateral mantle cavity was lost and the right cavity expanded toward the middle of the body after the first 90 degree of torsion. Next mechanism is detorsion. Varying degree of detorsion are seen in the opisthobrunx and pulmonis, and the anus opens to the right side and even to the posterior. However, both of these groups were derived from the torted ancestors. Next, coiling. What is coiling of gastropoda? Coiling or spiral winding of the shell and visceral mass is not the same as torsion. Coiling may occur in the larval stage of gastropoda at the same time as torsion. But the fossils record shows that coiling was a separate evolutionary event and originated in gastropoda earlier than did torsion. Early gastropods had a bilaterally symmetrical planospiral shell in which all holes lay in a single plane. The weight and bulk of the main body hole, the largest hole of the shell, pressed on the right side of the mantle cavity, and however, and apparently interfered with the organs on that side. The compactness problem of the planispiral shell was solved by the conspiral shell, in which each succeeding hole is at the side of the preceding one. Accordingly, the gill atrium and kidney of the right side have been lost in most living gastropods, leading to the condition of bilateral asymmetry. Curiously, a few modern species have secondarily returned to a planospiral shell form. Now the topic has ended. Please subscribe my YouTube channel Biogenesis by Madhurima and follow my Facebook channel Madhurima Datta.